Megan Rapinoe, Brittney Griner, and Candace Parker. These names ring loudly in the world of female athletics. But despite their dominance in their respective sports, they face relentless criticism from sports fans. Is this criticism rooted in gender bias, the remnants of the patriarchy, or is there more to it? Perhaps it's because beyond their gender, these athletes exhibit traits that fans just find unappealing. While it's true that some of the criticism may be influenced by gender stereotypes, a closer examination reveals that gender alone cannot be the sole or primary reason for the disdain directed at them. The predominantly male sports audience has historically rallied behind numerous female athletes and continues to do so today. So, what exactly are these undesirable traits that turn some sports fans away from these female stars? Upon reflection, it becomes evident that entitlement, arrogance, detachment from business reality, and the construction of false victimhood narratives are the key ingredients that make these athletes tremendously unlikable to some. It's crucial to note that there are female sports stars who don't exhibit these traits and are well received. However, a significant number do showcase some or all of these dislikable characteristics. Interestingly, these are the same traits that can make some male athletes equally disliked. One prevalent flaw in disliked female athletes is an entitled and arrogant mentality. This often translates into an expectation that the broader sports world should automatically appreciate and celebrate their sport, without putting in the effort to make it more engaging. A prime example is seen in WNBA stars, who criticize sports fans for not inherently liking their game.
Boring!
Dismissing valid concerns about the entertainment value rather than adapting their game to captivate a wider audience, as the NBA has done successfully. Some WNBA players arrogantly rebuff potential fans for daring to question the excitement of their league. This entitlement and refusal to acknowledge constructive criticism contribute significantly to the negative perception some fans have of these female athletes. The unwillingness to bridge the gap between what they offer and what sports enthusiasts seek ultimately hampers their popularity. While gender may play a role in some instances, it is the manifestation of these particular traits that largely shapes the public's view of these athletes. In summary, the criticism faced by female sports stars is multifaceted, rooted not only in gender biases, but also in the demonstration of certain traits. Entitlement, arrogance, a lack of adaptability, and the construction of victimhood narratives contribute to their unlikability. On the contrary, female athletes who do not exhibit these traits are embraced by fans, proving that gender is not the sole determinant of the public opinion. To put it bluntly, the question implies that WNBA players feel the need to relearn the game merely to cater to those who may not appreciate it for what it is. In essence, it suggests that WNBA players believe they deserve to be recognized as part of an entertaining league without putting in the effort to earn that acknowledgement. It's important to note that having an entitled attitude is not exclusive to any gender. It can alienate fans from male athletes as well. For instance, a similar sense of entitlement was attributed to LeBron James in 2011, when, after joining a super team and facing a loss in the NBA Finals, he continued to carry himself as if he should be regarded as an all-time great player without having achieved the necessary milestones. This entitled attitude drew criticism, even from his staunchest supporters, until he secured 2 championships, earning the recognition he deserved. The key point here is that female athletes, just like their male counterparts, need to prove themselves on the field and win over fans through their performance. It's not about entitlement, but about demonstrating excellence in their craft. Beloved female athletes like prime Ronda Rousey and the highly successful race car driver Danica have understood this well. They grasp the business aspect of sports and acknowledge that salaries are linked to demand and interest, which translates into views, ad revenue, and sponsorships. In essence, the dislike towards female athletes isn't rooted in their gender, but rather in the manifestation of traits like entitlement and a lack of business understanding. Athletes, regardless of gender, need to earn the recognition and fan support through achievement and an understanding of the business side of sports. Now let's take a look at the athletes like Ronda Rousey and Danica. Not only were these women the best in their respective sports at the time, but they also had a profound understanding of how the sports entertainment business operated. These qualities combined made them immensely likable and popular. Now compare this to some female athletes who demand higher salaries, even though the revenue they bring in doesn't justify a salary increase. In fact, some of these athletes compete in leagues that wouldn't exist without subsidies, like the WNBA and the National Women's Soccer League. Yet, they still voice complaints about their 6-figure salaries when, in reality, it could be closer to zero. Survey says most sports fans live in reality, finding these claims completely absurd. This ultimately puts off fans and makes these complaining players even more dislikable. Adding to the issue is when female athletes lie about being underpaid, often due to their own bad business decisions. Let's revisit the US women's soccer team and Megan Rapinoe. This group sued the U.S. Soccer Federation over pay discrimination, a claim that was dismissed by a judge who pointed out that the women were actually paid more in total and more per game than their male counterparts. The judge also highlighted that the women were offered a similar pay-for-play agreement as the men, but they rejected it for a safer, albeit less rewarding, payment structure. They then chose to lie about being discriminated against, seeking compensation for their own bad business decisions. Sports fans had to endure this lie in the media for years. Even worse, the U.S. women's team continued this lie, weaponizing the false allegation through external media pressure, eventually securing a multi-million-dollar settlement payout from the U.S. Soccer Federation, perhaps to halt the incorrect bad press and just move on from the controversy. Sports fans don't appreciate liars, especially when the lie becomes glaringly obvious. This is a significant reason why people distance themselves from Lance Armstrong, proving that being disliked for lying is not a gendered issue. Now let's dive into the final dislikable trait, which is the attempt to contrive a victimhood status as a way to gain forced sympathy. By doing this, athletes are trying to shift responsibility for why they may not be well liked, lack a substantial fan base, or earn higher pay. Take Megan Rapinoe and her teammates, for instance, who cried victim, claiming they were paid less because they were women. In reality, they had the agency to choose the deal they wanted. Another example is Brittney Griner and the WNBA, who released statements about an incident that painted them as victims, huddling nervously in an airport corner after a confrontation. Let's examine the larger picture. Research indicates that individuals who frequently signal their victimhood, whether real, exaggerated, or false, are more likely to engage in lying and cheating for their own material gain. Moreover, signaling victimhood is associated with numerous morally undesirable personal traits. In simpler terms, people generally dislike this behavior. One of the reasons fans are drawn to sports stars is their ability to overcome tough obstacles, not complain about them. This is why, for instance, many dislike Kevin Durant after he joined the Warriors. Instead of persevering through obstacles, he seemed to avoid them, creating resentment among fans. In the world of sports, as in life, people tend to not like those who act entitled, arrogant, lack common sense, or pretend to be victims. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, I'll see you.